Hi everyone, I'm attorney Aiden Kramer with the Law Office of Aiden H. Kramer in Colorado, and you're watching All Up in Your Business. In this episode of All Up in Your Business, I'm going to be talking about starting a retail marijuana business in Colorado. Now, before I get started, I have to clarify a few things. While it is legal in Colorado to use and sell and cultivate marijuana under certain circumstances, it is still very much against federal law and the laws of most states. As an attorney, I am not allowed to help or advise people on how to break the law. Therefore, this whole video is not helpful, okay? Let's all say it together. Not helpful. I'm not trying to help anyone here. I am just saying things. I'm just saying stuff about the current state of the law, okay? So hopefully we all understand me, not helpful. Moving on. Since Amendment 64 was passed here in Colorado, allowing the recreational sale of marijuana, there's been a lot of news about Colorado and the new businesses starting to grow, and there's been a big influx of people coming to Colorado to get into the marijuana business. And according to the news, the revenue generated thus far from the marijuana businesses has been substantial. So it would make sense then, if you wanted to get into such a business, to just move to Colorado and open up a shop, right? Well, not so fast. While it is legal in Colorado, it's not necessarily easy. The laws have been drafted in a way to make it pretty difficult, and there are a lot of barriers to entry. So what I'm going to go over today are a few of those factors and a few of the requirements if you're wanting to start a retail or medical marijuana business in Colorado. Now, these aren't all of the requirements to start a retail marijuana business in Colorado. If I was to go over every single requirement, this episode would be much longer than anybody would want to watch. So I'm just going to go over a few of them. Currently, you must already be an owner of a medical marijuana shop if you want to start a retail marijuana shop. You have to already have that medical marijuana business before you apply for the license to sell it in retail. Now that's going to change on July 1st, 2014, and that requirement is going to go away. But as of right now, you have to already own a medical marijuana shop. You have to be at least 21 years old on the date that you apply for the license, and that applies to medical and retail marijuana. You have to have a location already in place before you apply for a license. So you have to already either have a lease signed or otherwise pending, dependent on that license being approved. Now, here's a big one. You have to be a Colorado resident for at least 2 years prior to applying for a retail or medical marijuana license. So this is going to prevent most people from just moving to Colorado and starting up a business. I think that's sort of the impression that a lot of people have, is that it'll be fairly easy to come here from another state and start up a business. That's not going to be the way it's going to work. You have to be here for at least 2 years by the time you apply for a license. You also can't have a criminal record that indicates that you're not of good moral character. So what exactly does that mean, not of good moral character? Well, I'm glad you asked. It means you can't have committed crimes of moral turpitude. So what the heck does moral turpitude mean? It doesn't really mean anything. It's this very open-ended catch-all that applies to crimes against the community standards of justice and honesty and morality. So it's very subjective, and whether or not you've committed a crime of moral turpitude will be determined by basically who's evaluating the application that day. So a few crimes that most likely will be considered crimes of moral turpitude would be murder, rape, kidnapping, assault maybe, but really this term moral turpitude can theoretically apply to any crime. So there you go, moral turpitude. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And finally, it's going to be expensive. The fees to apply and to get a license with the state of Colorado range anywhere from $250 up to $18,000. So it's definitely not cheap. And those are just the fees for the state of Colorado's license. Now, Colorado has given the cities and counties throughout the state the ability to have their own rules and regulations regarding licenses. And so depending on the city or the county that you're looking to start the business in, there may be additional fees or additional restrictions on who can get a license. So in all, it's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice in the beginning to start a retail or medical marijuana business in Colorado. But despite all that hard work, it sounds like it could be a pretty lucrative business opportunity. So I'm guessing most people who are interested in starting a marijuana business in Colorado will probably be people who use marijuana to begin with. So I think it's kind of ironic that the people who are putting all of this hard work and effort into starting a business are also the ones who have that stereotype of being very lazy do-nothings who don't really want to work or exert much effort. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much business comes to Colorado through this and see if those people who do partake can help to kind of get rid of that stereotype of people who use marijuana. So that's all for this episode. I'm not going to say that I hope it was helpful. I don't hope it was helpful. I hope it was informative and factual, but not helpful. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below. If you would like to speak with me personally about possibly starting up a marijuana business in Colorado, go ahead and contact me. My information is at the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Aiden Kramer, and I'll see you next time.